As you mentioned, the Warriors did make that pick at number 2, and they did take James Wiseman. Let me take you through the top of the NBA draft last night. As expected, Anthony Edwards from Georgia went number 1. He's the 5th SEC player drafted first overall since 2010. He goes to Minnesota. The Warriors, here they are, taking James Wiseman, who played just 3 games in college. He is the 7'1" big. That was expected, and then so was this. Charlotte taking LaMelo Ball. Basketball has taken him all over the world, and now it takes him to the Hornets, where he will play for Michael Jordan. And so you were just saying, JWill, that you thought that maybe, and they didn't have a lot of time to react to this. Again, the news of the injury to Klay Thompson comes something like 2 hours, maybe even less, before the draft last night. What else happened last night that stood out to you? I'm giving you a sort of a blank slate here. What to you was the number 1 storyline coming out of the draft last night?
I thought Daryl Morey made moves for the 76ers.
Yeah.
I mean, they moved Al Horford. They moved Josh Richardson. They got Seth Curry, who is the son-in-law of Doc Rivers. This team needs shooting. They added Terrence Ferguson, who played overseas, who's a big-time wing, who can shoot the ball well as well. And they landed Tyrese Maxey. If you're going to stick with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, you needed to surround them with pieces. You bring in Doc Rivers to unlock Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris had one of his best years playing with Doc in LA, and now adding shooting around those guys. I mean, look, Seth Curry is on pace to be one of the best shooters that we've seen in the history of the game from a career 3-point field goal percentage, stat. So, look, I think Daryl Morey, and I still think they're making moves. I still think there's some moves for Daryl Morey and company to make, but the 76ers find themselves in a great position moving forward.
I think I agree with you, and let's live there for a minute. Seth Curry, I think, frequently gets completely overlooked because he's overshadowed by his brother, who is one of the greatest players of all time. But he is a great shooter, and Green obviously is a 3-and-D guy, and you put them on the floor with the big 3 they've put together in Philadelphia and the new coach. In your mind, as currently constituted, is that a team that wins the Eastern Conference?
I'm still not going to have them as a favorite to beat the Nets. And the Bogdanovic trade really kind of confused me yesterday, because on paper, I would have told you, Greeny, that Milwaukee probably had one of the best chances to beat Brooklyn. But him not going there now, I still think they need to make some moves. And Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Giannis is really good, but it's not as good as with Bogdanovic. So I would still say right now that Brooklyn is still in the driver's seat. Boston is still there. But Philadelphia is on their way. The big question we have with Philly is just, can it work with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid down the stretch? Can it work? But Daryl Morey's putting pieces around them to put them in that position, and that's all you can ask for.
Really interesting as we work our way towards the start of the season, and more wheeling and dealing to be done. JWill, KJZ, coast to coast every morning on ESPN Radio. Outstanding, my man. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.